Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the Concept YouTube channel. So let's discuss today's topics. The first topic is related with vaccine distribution policy. So certain points are given in this article, so we will discuss about it. We will also discuss about the this topic, that is COVID prelims specific question can be framed. Next topic is related with inner line permit system question can be framed in GS paper 3. And we will also try to understand certain aspect related with Sudan crisis. This topic is related with international relation. In the end, I will give you the mains question. So this session is presented by me. My name is Saurabh Pandey. If you are preparing for UPSC examination and specifically UPSC CSE 2021, so you can join many batch courses which are launched specifically to UPSC CSE 2021 prelims. So you have the opportunity, still you have the opportunity to crack the prelims. You can join this course. This course is starting from today. You will get prelims test series with analysis PDF. You can also attend the classes of 80 plus top educators. So there are many batch courses launched for UPSC CSE 2021-2023. You can join my course on agriculture optional, which is again very high scoring optional. It will also open opportunity for Indian Forest Service as well, and in IS exam also you can score high. And the best part is like if you will see last year paper, so most of the questions are repeated. If you do around 10 or 15 years previous year questions, 10-15 years related previous year questions, you will be able to solve most of the questions. So it's very high scoring. Optional, you can join it, is starting from January 5. Use the code SP Live. You have to take the subscription of UPSC optional category and in Unacademy, and you have to use this code, that is SPLIVE. So to download the PDF of the session, you can visit SP current affairs telegram channel. To post your answer, you have to post daily dose with S.Pandey. You have to post your answer before 5 p.m. if you want your answer to be considered for answer writing champion, which is again we discussed the question and the possible answer daily at 10 p.m. in this channel, the Concept YouTube channel. You can also follow me on unacademy.com/@live. So let's see the first topic, that is towards an effective vaccination distribution policy. And there is another article. In this article there is this concept of COVID. So we'll try to understand what actually is the COVID and how it is different from even. There are two terms, COVID and even, and the second part is related with the effective vaccine policy distribution. So you all are aware that many of companies like Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, they are claiming that they have created the vaccine. So after phase 3 trial, after successful phase 3 trial, many of the companies, they are saying that the effectiveness of their vaccine is more than 90%. So they are ready to be used. So after the creation of these vaccines, now the biggest challenge is its distribution. What kind of policy the government can form or formulate for the distribution. So India plans to vaccinate around 300 million people against COVID-19 over the next 6 to 7 months. This is a huge number. And the other part that you have to understand, like they have to vaccinate 300 million people, but they need around 600 million doses, because the doses will be provided twice. So for 300 million people, they have to, for each individual 2 doses will be provided, so they need around 600 million doses. Government has establish the priorities, like to give priority to healthcare workers. Because why we need to emphasize on healthcare workers? The first reason is related with the sustainability of the healthcare. If the healthcare system, if healthcare workers are not healthy, then the healthcare system may be not able to help us in fighting against such pandemic. So to maintain the sustainability of healthcare system, it is required that healthcare workers are healthy. Second is related with the people who are 50 years of age. If they are 50 years of age, then there is higher vulnerability related with COVID-19. So they are in second priority. All the vaccines that are currently in the spotlight require 2 doses presently. Like there are vaccines by Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, so they require around 2 doses, so we need around 600 million doses. Already it is said that the government has struck a deal with Serum Institute to acquire 500 million doses, so we'll get 500 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine. And this Pune's Serum Institute of India is the world's largest producer of vaccine. Government strategy of giving priority to frontline workers and elderly people. So this strategy that we are following, in which we are giving priority to frontline workers and we are giving priority to the elderly people, we borrowed this practice from United Kingdom and USA. In any of the vaccine distribution policy, the two major objectives: first is related with the protection of those vaccinated, those who are taking the vaccine, those who are vaccinated, to ensure their protection, and the second is to minimize the transmission. To minimize the transmission means if a major part of the population is vaccinated, and when they are vaccinated, so they will not be part of the transmission chain, and this will help us to limit the transmission. So this is the second option. So if we are vaccinating more number of people, then there is a possibility of limiting the transmission chain. The argument made is like, if you are putting elderly people in priority, so most of these elderly people, they are in house, means the movement of the elderly people is very less. So if you are providing vaccination to the elderly people and their movement is very less, then how come they will help in limiting the transmission? This is the argument made by the author of this article. So it is also said that allow the administrators to test the vaccination process and check the uses of CoWIN IT platforms. So there is this platform called CoWIN. CoWIN is a IT platform in which, like, you have CoWIN app. So you have this CoWIN app. So in case of CoWIN app, what happens, like, you can download this CoWIN app and you can self-register for coronavirus vaccine. So if you are a healthcare worker, elderly people, or you are suffering from comorbidities, means the person is having more than 2 diseases, so this app can be downloaded. And if this app is downloaded, this app can be used to self-register for the coronavirus vaccine. So it is said that the CoWIN is then upgraded version of the electronic vaccine intelligence network. So when you talk about, even like I discussed earlier also, this electronic vaccine intelligence network is a kind of a platform which help us to know about the production, the distribution, like for example, in a particular region, how many vaccines are available and how many vaccines are required. So you will get the information related with the availability and the requirement of the vaccines. So when we talk about CoWIN is an upgraded version of EVIN. In the first 2 stages, the government will vaccinate priority groups, like we have discussed, the frontline workers, the persons or the people with comorbidities, and also the elderly people. And in this process, this CoWIN app will play an important role, because these people can do the self-registration. If in a family, if in any of the family there is such people, so they can be registered in this app, and government can use the data to set the priority and how to vaccinate such people. Next part which has been highlighted is related with the private hospitals. Now when you talk about the participation of the private hospital, the biggest hurdle is the mindset, the intention. The profitability is the biggest intention. Every private hospital, most of the private hospital, you can say, their aim is profitability. They will try to extract maximum profit out of vaccine distribution. Like, if vaccine is to be distributed, and if for the distribution of the vaccine public resources are public hospitals are used, then the government will set certain criteria, and government will also set certain priority. And of course, the priority will not be the profit. The priority will be to ensure vaccination of these prioritized group. But in case of private hospital, there is a possibility that they will focus more on the profit part. So they will try to gain more profit, try to extract maximum profit. And because of this approach, there may be possibility that those who have economic power, or we can say those who can afford, they will be vaccinated and rest will be left. So certain steps need to be taken. The second argument that we can give is about the resources. Public resources are not sufficient. Public resources are not sufficient. It means public we can say public hospitals or government hospitals, or infrastructure required to restore or store vaccines. You require that also. That is also not sufficient when you talk about the public infrastructure related with the vaccine storage. So you need the participation of private hospitals. So steps can be taken as per which certain regulation can be made, and there can be a public-private partnership for an effective vaccine distribution. This has been recommended by many of we can say experts. Second is a very important topic related with Sudan. The question can be framed under international relation topic, and recently there is a normalization of ties with the state of Israel is a big trade-off for the terror delisting. This is again a very important step, you can say. So first of all, we need to know where is Sudan. So this is Sudan. You need to understand the countries sharing border with Sudan. You have Egypt, you have Libya, you have Chad, Congo, we can say Democratic Republic of Congo, and this is a Congo Republic. Then you have Ethiopia, you have Uganda, you have Kenya. These are the countries which share border with Sudan and South Sudan. You have this water body called Red Sea, and you have this country called Eritrea. So this basic geography you need to know. This is Gulf of Aden. In comment section, let me know. There is one strait. What is the name of that strait? And there are many terrorist organizations in this in Africa itself. Like you have Al-Shabaab in Somalia, in Nigeria you have Boko Haram, in Mali there is one terrorist organization that is Ansar Dine, in Tunisia you have the presence of Al-Qaeda, ISIS. So there is a presence of many of the terrorist organization in African region, which is again a matter of concern, because if there is a presence of terrorist groups in Africa, so it can be responsible for destabilizing the peace and harmony across the world, and also in Africa as well. So the factors that influence the designation of Sudan as a sponsor of terrorism. So Sudan has been listed as a sponsor of terrorism. The reason being that many of the steps taken by the Sudan government earlier, for example, they have supported Palestine Liberation Organization, they have supported Hamas, Hezbollah, also they have harbored Osama bin Laden until 1996. After many protests and many of the movements which took place, or revolution which took place in Sudan, after 30 long years, the dictatorship of Omar Hassan al-Bashir ended, and it resulted into the steps which can take Sudan towards the path of democracy. Now presently, if you see, there is a presence of military or armed forces in democratic administration which exist in Sudan. So democratic transition had been underway in the North African country since August 2019, and it is said that next election will be in 2022, and it is said that in 2022 also military will share power in transitional government. So this is a biggest we can say hurdle also, because if there is a presence of army or armed forces in a democratic transition, or in we can say in governance, there is a possibility of autocracy, or again we can say the absolute principle of democracies may not be followed, and this can again destabilize the situation in Sudan. Recent US move to remove Sudan designation, like it has been listed listed as a country which sponsor terrorism. So removal of Sudan from that designation will help Sudan to attract investment, because the source of income for Sudan earlier was oil, and in 2011 there was a bifurcation of Sudan into South Sudan, and most of these oil resources are in South Sudan. So there is a dearth of we can say resources which can generate revenue for Sudan, and it needs investment which can help it to deal with or we can say to tackle various problems which are there in Sudan. So such steps taken by the USA and Israel will help Sudan, like the step that is taken to delist Sudan as a country that sponsor terrorism. It will help to attract investment in Sudan. So in Sudan also one major hurdle that exists and which is a responsible factor for the crisis in Sudan is COVID-19 pandemic. Second is a worst flood. It suffered a flood also. Because of the flood, the situation became very grim. Also there is a food shortage. Inflation is also very high, and there is a severe unemployment. So this deal struck with United States will provide Sudan access to global financial institutions like World Bank, IMF. Sudan can take a loan from these financial institutions, and again this will help to attract investment and can help Sudan to tackle all these problems, for example food shortage or inflation or unemployment, or to tackle COVID-19 pandemic. Second topic is inner line permit is center's biggest gift to Manipur. So in this article, we need to know about the inner line permit system. What basically is the inner line permit system? So in many of the states in northeastern region like Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, and recently Manipur, Mizoram, and certain part of Assam, you have this inner line permit system. So as per the inner line permit system, when you talk about the inner line permit system, it is a kind of a document required by non-natives. Basically it is for the domestic tourist. Domestic tourist means, like for example, if you are going to these states, you need a certain documents which highlight the reason for your stay and the time duration. Like you can visit these places for a short period of time or certain period of time that is mentioned in ILP, and you also need to state the reason. At present, 4 northeastern states, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, in these states you have this system called as ILP system, and the purpose of ILP is the preservation of indigenous culture and tradition and prevent illegal migrants and encroachment by the outsider, to prevent the cultural because if there is a demographic transition in that area, it will help to dilute or destroy the prevalent culture in that area, which the political parties in that area wants to limit. They wants that their culture is preserved, their tradition is preserved, and that is the reason they prevent illegal migrants also, and they also prevent encroachment by the outsider. So the inner line permit is an extension of Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act 1873, and these Britishers, they framed regulations in certain designated areas. So they framed regulation in certain designated areas long back ago in 1873, but still it persists, and in order to preserve we can say the indigenous culture and tradition and prevent illegal migrant and encroachment from outside, still this ILP system continues in many of the northeastern states. So this point you need to understand. Let's see the question: what role technology can play in effective vaccination distribution policy? You have to write it within 150 words. You have to send your answer to Telegram channel Daily Dose with S.Pandey. If you want that your answer is counted for today's answer writing championship, and your name will be announced on 10th of 10th of at 10 p.m. not 10th 10 p.m. Your name will be announced, and we will also discuss how this answer need to be approached and the best answer written by you all, that will also be discussed. So you have the opportunity to become the answer writing champion, and at the same point of time you need to develop this habit of writing the answer daily. You can connect with me on Unacademy. Use this code SPLive. Many of the courses, batch courses, have been launched. Also agriculture optional I am launching. This optional is very high scoring optional. You can see 2019 paper. Just take a look on paper 1, because paper 2 require a bit of study. And when you talk about the background, if you take any of the optional, history or political science, you don't have background in either of the optional. So you have this tendency to study, and you need to take such optional which can give you maximum return. And the best part in agriculture is most of the questions are repeated. Like if you do 15 years questions, maximum question will be repeated. So you just need to prepare 350 page notes, which I will ensure that I will ensure in the class itself that you prepare that notes in the class itself, and you will be able to score higher if you are covering those topics that we have discussed. We will complete the syllabus, and it will also open opportunity for you all for the IFS exam. So I am very much hopeful that you will opt the optional, and you have to take the subscription of optional for at least 1 year, because you need to take it till the time you are giving the mains. If you are giving the mains on 2022, you can take for 2 years. If you are giving on 2023, you can take for 3 years. So it depends. Okay, so I request each of you, please like it, or don't forget to subscribe it, and do write the answer and send it to daily dose with s.pandey. And don't forget to send or to share this session with your friends. Thank you everyone, and let's crack it.